One practice is already in the books for the Ravens as they will soon head out to the desert on Sunday to face Arizona in Week 8. And before practice even began, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson found out he's been named AFC Offensive Player of the Week for his work against the Lions on Sunday. 357 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and another touchdown rushing. And as soon as Jackson took the field today for practice, smart man, he greeted his offensive line. A big reason why this offense is coming off one of its top performances of the season, one that they hope to only build on moving forward.
We had a good game last week. We got to have the best game we can have this week against a completely different defense, completely different situation. We're on the road. All those things change. So, that'll be our goal, our mission. Just keep trying to have a good game from week to week and overarchingly continue to improve and get better.
That complete game by both the Ravens offense and the league's #2 defense is behind them, but they do hope that was only a glimpse of their ceiling that they can carry over against the Cardinals and beyond.
It shows growth, but you don't want to have to step back either. So we got to continue chasing those imperfections to make them perfect.
That's one game. We had a couple games where we was good, and then the next week is like, oh, what's going on with the offense and stuff like that. So right now we're just trying to chase the consistency.
Attendance-wise at Ravens practice today, I'll start with the good. They got wide receiver Tylan Wallace back. He had a Week 3 hamstring injury that put him on the IR. As far as misses, 3 Ravens were not on the practice field. One of those, inside linebacker Roquan Smith. When asked about him after practice, John Harbaugh had no comment and referred to the team's injury report. I am being told it is believed to not be a serious injury for this Sunday. Reporting in Owings Mills, I'm Morgan Adsett for Sports Unlimited.
And we are looking good as we head into a Halloween, I guess we'll call it holiday weekend, at least for Friday. Saturday, dry days. I think any rain here is overdone. Even Sunday, though, there are some showers. I've only got about a 20% chance of rain in there. And pretty mild, too. Now, by the time we get to Halloween, though, an early look, chilly and breezy. Cold front has come through at this point. At least it won't be rainy, though. 2 p.m., 56, 54 at 4, and 47 at 7 p.m. So going to need some jackets with the costumes. But until then, we're going to be doing some apple picking this weekend. Friday, good-looking day. Near record warmth. That stays for Saturday. 77, that slim chance of a shower for Sunday.
All right, coming up on Fox 45 News at 6 o'clock, breaking news. The man accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend is sentenced. We have the details in court. And are Baltimore police responding properly to crimes? Why one councilman is saying no.
Fox 45 following breaking news. Michael Robertson has been sentenced in the killing of Akia Eggleston and her unborn child. The latest details as we hear from Eggleston's loved ones. A second firefighter dies after last week's deadly row home fire. The emotional words from his crew on what he meant to them and the department. After a 22-day deadlock, the House officially has a new speaker. Coming up later, we'll have a live report from D.C. with the latest on Congressman Mike Johnson's appointment.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
A tragic update 1 week after a fire in northwest Baltimore kills a firefighter and injures 4 others. Today, Fox 45 News has learned a second firefighter, Lieutenant Dylan Ronaldo, died from his injuries. It is the 6th death to hit the fire department in less than 2 years. Mayor Scott reacting this afternoon.
This is a reminder of why folks have to be thankful to women and men who choose that line of work, because they are literally putting their lives at risk for everyone else every single day.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you so much for staying with us. The news of Lieutenant Ronaldo's death comes as the department prepares to say goodbye to firefighter Rodney Pitts this week. Fox 45's Maxine Stryker has the story.
As members of the fire department arrive here today to pay their respects to firefighter Rodney Pitts, their hearts are heavy after they lost another brother just last night, Lieutenant Ronaldo. Ronaldo was injured in the fire and had been at Bayview since last week, succumbing to his injuries late last night.
Had a strong passion for the fire service.
The Baltimore City Fire Department is mourning today after the loss of a second firefighter in less than a week.
Everybody's hurting from it. It was an emotional roller coaster this past week, ups and downs.
Lieutenant Dylan Ronaldo died last night after he was injured in a house fire along Linden Heights Avenue last Thursday. Officials saying the fire suddenly strengthened, killing 31-year-old Rodney Pitts that day and injuring Ronaldo and 3 other firefighters.
There was nothing to indicate that this was a normal fire for us.
Ronaldo had been with the department since 2018 and was promoted to lieutenant last year. According to an online fundraiser, he was recently engaged and his wedding was just months away. He's described as an amazing friend, selfless, with a true passion for his job.
He was very well liked and respected, and a lot of his colleagues are obviously having to deal with the horrible news today and taking it very, very hard.
Prior to his time in Baltimore, the Fairlawn Fire Department in New Jersey says he served 6 years with Engine Company 4. Firefighting was in his blood. His father was the former chief of the New Jersey department. Fire Officers Union President Josh Fannin says they were all hopeful he'd pull through.
After we knew we had lost Rodney Pitts, that we were clinging to some kind of hope that a silver lining to a already tragic situation was that we were going to be by Dylan's side and walk him out of the burn center one day on his road to full recovery, and we were hanging on to that.
Ronaldo is the 6th member of the department to die in less than 2 years. 3 firefighters passed during the Stricker Street fire in January of 2022. Another suffered an on-duty medical emergency last October.
We're still healing from Stricker Street, and then we lose a member on Thursday right away, and then to have Dylan, you know, still be here and then tragically succumb to his injuries last night, it's just a punch in the gut, you know, it's devastating.
The fire union says their members are doing as expected after losing 2 brothers.
A lot of time together, you know, in the firehouses, you know, outside of the job, you know, when you technically fight fire together, you depend on each other to have each other's backs, and when something like this happens, it hits you. It takes your confidence away.
You can get closer than family, and I don't think it's not a bond that's easily duplicated in any other walk of life.
Pitt's funeral is set for this Friday. Services for Ronaldo have yet to be announced. In Dundalk, Maxine Stryker, Fox 45 News.
Fox 45 is following breaking news. A judge has sentenced Michael Robertson, the Baltimore man convicted of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend and their unborn child, to 2 life sentences. Akia Eggleston was reported missing in 2017 after she didn't show up for her baby shower. Well, years later, Robertson was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. During his nearly 3-week-long trial, the state argued Robertson killed Akia, then put her body in a dumpster, but her body has never been found. During today's sentencing, several family members read victim impact statements. Robertson remained quiet.
And he's a coward. He was a coward then when he killed Akia and killed Anubis. He's a coward now. And he has no moral compass or character as a man. So I didn't expect him to say anything.
The healing has just begun. We waited for justice, and now we can have some sort of peace.
Well, the judge ordered that the 2 life sentences will be served consecutively. Robertson's attorney says they've already filed an appeal. Mary?
Guy, thank you. Tonight, there are growing concerns about the police department's ability to help victims. Right now, you are looking at footage from an incident this week that shows a man on a scooter being robbed after his attackers almost hit him with their car. One city council member says BPD did not follow up on this robbery, and it shows the department and the mayor's office are failing the people of Baltimore.
But I've lost confidence in the administration's ability to manage this problem.
Well, Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor has more details on the robbery and the concerns the department is not responding the way it should be.
Yeah, this week, the delayed response to a robbery caught on camera has Councilman Costello up in arms and demanding action on the department.
When you call 911 for help,
can I get a CC number for armed robbery?
You expect an immediate response and thorough investigation.
There's been this back and forth about whether or not they're aware of the incident that happened in the first place.
But Councilman Eric Costello claims that wasn't the case early Tuesday morning when a man riding a scooter in South Baltimore boxed in by 2 cars and mugged along a well-lit street beside a slew of surveillance cameras capturing the attack from every angle.
I'm not sure what else there is to be aware of besides video footage of it.
However, after calling BPD that day to learn where the investigation stood, Costello claims it hadn't even started.
9 hours after the incident happened, no one had contacted the gentleman who called 911, and no one reached out to the Federal Reserve Bank, which is across the street, which has more cameras than you have silverware in your silverware drawer.
He adds it's far from the first time a violent attack in his district has been met with a slow to no response.
What is happening is not okay.
It's a common complaint.
Former Baltimore Police Commissioner Ed Norris pointing to a lack of manpower within the department.
When I was in, it was a 3,200 person department. Now it's, I think, under 2,000. That's outrageous in a city that's dangerous.
Saying the less boots on the ground means it's less likely your emergency will be treated as such. Although he argues there's still no excuse incidents like these aren't being prioritized.
That's a really serious crime. If they don't respond, I would call a supervisor, or I'd have you guys pressure them.
Pressure Costello says should be coming from the Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and within the department.
I've spent every waking moment over the last 5 days fielding phone calls, text messages, and emails from residents who don't feel safe.
Instead of residents coming to him as a last resort.
People are scared to come out of their home in the middle of broad daylight. That is insane. The administration needs.
Mayor Brandon Scott pushing back on the councilman's criticisms, arguing the police are doing their job.
The councilman says he has the respect and confidence in the deputy mayor. That means he has the confidence in the administration because he's my deputy mayor for a reason.
Well, Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost pressed the mayor today on concerns surrounding public safety. Let's hear his response.
What do you say to people who are fearful and feel like they have lost their sense of security and safety in their own community?
What I would say is, listen, we know that robberies are actually down in the city of Baltimore. Before the councilman sent his letter, myself, the deputy mayor, had our meeting with the police leadership, and we addressed the issue that we needed them to make sure they were breaking these rings. The fact of the matter is Baltimore is down in robberies. The fact of the matter is that we're down in homicides that we don't seem to talk about anymore, right? They're down 19 19% in the city of Baltimore. We know that auto theft is an issue across this country.
But is it acceptable that you're telling these people that homicides and the numbers are down, but people are still getting robbed, they're getting attacked?
Well, I think that, Mackenzie, you could be looking for some kind of sound clip, but the reality is that multiple things can be true. I was a victim, so I know better than most people. I don't know if you've ever had a gun stuck in your face, so I know how that feels directly. But we also have to understand when you're talking about the totality of things, you have to tell them for all of it. Anybody that's a victim, I'm going to feel sorry for. It don't matter where they live in the city, don't matter what they look like, how long they've been here. But we also have to understand that this is not just on the backs of the women and men of BPD. This is not just about the police and what they're doing, because they are doing their job each and every day. This is about making sure that the system works.
Well, last night, Fox 45 held a town hall with former Mayor Sheila Dixon, who is now running for mayor again. She discussed how to restore public trust when it comes to public safety.
I know people say you don't want to go on the past, but one of the things we focused on in order to reduce crime, not only with the number of guns off the street and the number of murders reduced, but the quality of life in neighborhoods.
Well, if you missed tonight's town hall or last night's town hall, it will air Saturday at 1 on MyTV Baltimore, Saturday at 11 on the CW, and Sunday at midnight right here on Fox 45. And you can also stream the entire town hall right now at foxbaltimore.com.
The U.S. House of Representatives finally has a speaker. I'm Atrell Nashar on Capitol Hill with how Republicans were able to come to a consensus after 22 days.
And heading on into this evening, it looks like temperatures falling through the 60s into the 50s, even the 40s by early tomorrow morning, back to the 70s and 80s. 80s tomorrow. I'm going to let you know when some cooler numbers and rain moves in. My Weather Authority forecast.
The House of Representatives can get back to work now that Republicans have finally agreed on a new speaker, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar joins us live from Capitol Hill with the latest on this big move in Washington. Atra?
And just like that, Mary, it's over. We have a resolution after 22 days without a speaker. And look, even though it took now Speaker Mike Johnson just one ballot on the House floor today to get the gavel, it's what comes next for him that's going to be a whole lot more difficult.
Today is the day we get this done.
After 4 nominating cycles and 22 days without a House Speaker, Republicans did get it done.
The Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson won the gavel on a party line vote without a single Republican voting against him.
Please raise your right hand.
What's next for Johnson would be difficult for any speaker, especially one who didn't expect to fill the job. Congress must fund the government by November 17th and decide how to proceed with the president's more than $100 billion request to fund Israel, Ukraine, the southern border, and Taiwan.
The challenge before us is great, but the time for action is now, and I will not let you down.
Elected to the House in 2016, Johnson has the least amount of legislative experience among the leaders with whom he'll be negotiating these issues. Beyond urgent funding needs, will Johnson be able to reach across the aisle to get things done? Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries managed to quickly form an amicable working relationship.
The Honorable Mike Johnson.
It could take longer for Johnson and Jeffries.
House Democrats will continue to push back against extremism in this chamber and throughout the country.
But Johnson may prioritize mending strains within his own party, on full display the past 22 days.
I think they're worn out, they're tired. I think the country is frustrated by it. The conference is frustrated by it.
And Mary, the House is already back to work. In the last couple of minutes, the House approved a resolution saying that the United States stands with Israel and condemns Hamas.
And Atra, has there been any reaction to Johnson's speakership from the White House or other leaders of Congress?
Yeah, from the White House, from Democratic leadership, not yet anything from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, of course, the one other Republican who will be working with Johnson in the negotiations we just outlined. President Biden did give Johnson a call shortly after he got the gavel to congratulate him, to say he looks forward to finding common ground. He also issued a pretty lengthy statement explaining the importance of bipartisanship, something we also saw from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in a tweet, who says he looks forward to meeting with Speaker Johnson. He says he'll convey that bipartisanship is the only way we can deliver results. But unlike former Speaker McCarthy, who spent years really lobbying for this job and preparing for this job by building relationships within his party across the aisle, Mike Johnson has not done that. It's actually possible that Mitch McConnell and Mike Johnson, if they've ever met, simply just don't have much of a relationship. So there's going to be some basic get-to-know-yous that will have to happen, and happen quickly.
Interesting. We know you'll track it for us. Atra El-Nashar live on Capitol Hill for us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks.
Fox Triple Cast this evening. Well, things are looking good. Nice and warm here on the Toyota Eastern Harbor Skycam, Mile 1 Task Cam. Few clouds around, but temperatures made it up to 78, just 2 degrees off of records today. But as nice as it is here, take a look out west. That's potentially our next weather maker. It's got winter storm warnings with it in places like Montana. It won't be anything like that by the time it gets here, but there could be some rain out of it and a big temperature change into early next week by Halloween. Mile 1 Task Cam, 72 right now. You do see some of those clouds, especially high clouds that are out to our west. 72 with winds out of the southeast at 6 with the humidity at 48%. It's relatively dry and pretty warm. We love these temperatures. And October, yeah, almost November. Well, maybe some folks want it a little bit cooler, but your time is to come. 72 here in Baltimore now, 71 at Columbia, mid to upper 60s north and east of Baltimore, and some mid to upper 60s down the eastern shore. All these temperatures are about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago, and some 30 degrees warmer than the morning lows that we had this morning, getting down to about 43 over the airport. Again, I mentioned out to the west. I mean, we're talking way west, but Seattle, Minneapolis gets a lot colder, and eventually Billings, yes, that's where some of the snow is falling over several days. Now, in between, there's a band of showers in southern Canada down to about Omaha. We could get into a little bit of this rain again later in the weekend, potentially early next week. Until then, very stagnant pattern with sunshine and warmth. That's not so bad. Temperature 70s to low to mid 80s. You're going to maybe have to pull out your shorts and short sleeves once again. Billings right now, you're at 17, so it's a tale of two seasons across the country right now. Out in the tropics, Category 2 Hurricane Tammy is over the open waters of the Atlantic, eventually becomes extratropical, an tropical storm strength system that could be just east of Bermuda, several days away, but should not impact the United States. Temperatures falling through the 70s back into the 60s, even some 50s and 40s by early tomorrow morning, so jackets out. Sunglasses out once again tomorrow. Look at those high temperatures. Could even touch near 80 degrees. I'm going to let you know how close we get to records over the next several days and when the big cool down comes and if it's in time for your Halloween trick-or-treating. My exclusive 10-day forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. Coordinated protests happening on college campuses today surrounding the Israel-Hamas war, what students are demanding and why experts say they're misinformed. In tonight's Assignment America, college campuses continue to be a hotbed for debate over the Israel-Hamas war, with nationally coordinated protests happening across the nation today. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has the story.
Students at universities across the country walking out of classrooms Wednesday.
Free, free Palestine!
We are here as Columbia students to stand and say we need a ceasefire now.
The demonstrations coordinated by national pro-Palestinian groups, more than 100 colleges reportedly participating.
I am blessed to be a part of the walkout at UCLA.
A professor at Berkeley offering extra credit to students who show up. And at George Washington